Howdy-o, dickheads, it's me, once again, Dick Record, coming to you live from the studio in New York City. We're going to be doing the farewell to the format today. I know I'm recording it a little bit late. You know what, we're not very organized here, but before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, come on over to twitch.tv/Dick Record. Link in the description where you can catch me stream video games, leather crafting, and other assorted nonsense every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from around 4 to around 8 Eastern Standard Time. But with that out of the way, this is where my collection stands at. We are at what, 67%? Oh no, not 6-7, not 6-7. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm sorry that I had to bring that up during the year of our Lord 2026. You thought that we got away from that, didn't you? Let's open up our packs and talk about the format, shall we? But first, well, actually, while we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. So I came to this realization, right? Ooh, there's a Zula, Cunning Usurper. I splashed for her in one deck, and it was pretty cool, because she's just like, what, a 3-for-1? Very, very, very silly card. Very much a Prince format, because of cards like that you would splash for. What was it? Bit of housekeeping. I have been recording these and uploading these to my Dick Record YouTube channel. That's gonna change. And the main reason why that has to change is because the Dick Record YouTube channel is supposed to be for VODs from the Dick Record Twitch channel. And I opened up the Record Player 1 channel specifically for game recordings. So as of this video, this is going to be the last farewell to the format that goes up to the Dick Record YouTube channel. This is getting uploaded to both the Dick Record and the Record Player 1 channel. Please stay subscribed, especially if you enjoy my deadpan humor and my self-deprecating humor, and also me, and also come over to twitch.tv/DickRecord, all that stuff, right? But if you want to see more of these on a regular basis, and by regular I mean like at the end of every set, because obviously, please subscribe to Record Player 1. There's going to be a link in the description if you're listening to this or watching this on the Dick Record YouTube channel. I'm also going to be uploading all of the Magic the Gathering stuff there, because that is not recorded on Twitch. That is recorded off Twitch, so that's where I started to upload stuff. There's a few that actually didn't even get to go public, and at this point, I'm just not going to. It's like there's two drafts that I never made public, and I did a total of 8, but only 6 of them are public. Agent of Treachery. You know what? That's good art for it, actually. But also the screen grab is just. I know what they're trying to do. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. But yes, I enjoyed this format a bit. And then I came to the realization that I was utter crap at it. And I don't think it is partially a skill issue, right? Like, I do believe that, like, I'm not the best drafter, right? I'm still learning, and it's taking me like an awfully long time to really figure out draft formats, because I have one method of thinking about how Magic the Gathering is played, and that's like constructed. And so even though I've been trying to play draft for years, like sometimes I'll do well enough to get into platinum, but I hit that plateau, you know. I'm sure that you guys don't come to see me because you think I'm good at it. A lot of you people, even in the comments, what do you mean you people? Shut up, brain. A lot of you guys in the comments leave hints, tips, you know, stuff to look out for, right? And I do value that immensely, because, like, real talk, it's a journey, not a destination. Man, Ty Lee, she's cute too. Like if I was like a teenager and like I met her, I'd be like, hey, what's up? But then again, so was everyone else at the beach, right? I was a big fan of the Avatar show. 69, nice. We have 75 packs to open total. We've already gotten 6 into it. But yes, okay, so I'm a little scatterbrained here. I like the format. I did like the format. I appreciated that it was a little slower, right? But what I didn't appreciate was the massive gap in card quality between blue-white at common and like all the other colors, right? Like, this is a good example. White has Glider Kids, a 2/3 flying that when it enters scry 1, it gets in, right? And then conversely, black red has Vindictive Warden. You know, like, Human soldier. This is an ally, so this fits into the of the flyer's archetype of blue white. It fits into the ally's archetype of green white, right? This is a good for the firebending archetype because it gives you a mana sink if you don't have one, right? It does have an evasive ability, but Glider Kids is just, I feel so much better, even though Vindictive Warden has more text on it. You know, it's much easier to block a menace creature than it is to block a flyer, especially if you don't have a flyer. You know, so if you, and a buddy of mine, Total Sherry's, years ago, impressed upon me the following bit of wisdom. Flaps win drafts, right? You fly, you're probably gonna you get in, right? And draft is sort of a semi-aggressive format. You want to get your opponent down to 20. There's very few alternative win conditions. It's just hit your opponent, right? So when you're looking at creatures and what here is like more of a problem, like maybe Vindictive Warden is a better top deck later in the game, especially if, like, you know, you're both in top deck mode, right? And so you just play this and then you just ping your opponent out for 3/3/3/3/3. I'm sorry, 1/1/1. You know, you have 9 lands out. You play this for whatever reason. You have 9 lands. Oh my god, that sounds like that game has gone way too long. You play this at the end of their turn. You ping them twice. Cool. You're getting in essentially, and then like when you finally have enough board presence to just do the big swing, you ping a bunch of times after activating firebending. Again, molto bene, right? Glider Kids. I want this all over the curve though, because like this can turn a top deck war into a, oh, I definitely am drawing something good next turn, right? And the flyer, again, it 100% just like gets in, right? If everything else is on the ground and you have the one flyer, you know, Avatar Destiny, I played this in the, this is my first copy, but I got this in the last sealed that they did at the for midweek magic. This is a terrible card. This is a terrible card. Unless everything you have is dead, this is terrible, in which case it's I don't know, it's not great. Yeah, there was such a huge gap in card quality between blue and white and then like all the other colors at common, right? Green white almost felt like a trap because of it. This is strange. Earth Kingdom Soldier is a soldier and not an ally. I know it's in the name. I know it's in the name. It really needed to be an ally. This needed to be an ally. I don't know. The common payoffs need to help the the themes of the I'm sorry, the common signposts should help with the themes of the uncommon signposts. And I thought that this was like very dissonant, right? The red removal was kind of I don't know. I guess it had lightning strike, sandbender, scavengers. I think I fell for this as like a trap once, and that was a mistake. The ally colors were all pretty well supported, and then the enemy colors, or sorry, the ally color pairs were all well supported, and the enemy color pairs didn't seem to be as well supported, right? I do like the flavor of giving every color, every kingdom, earth, fire, air, and water, their own color. But then, like, since black sort of was, they took over and they sort of exploited all the other kingdoms, they sort of had little bits of all the other colors in there, right? Which was nice. I actually think that worked out pretty well. Some of the bomb rares that were so bomby, right? Oh, and I do appreciate the return of land cyclers at common. We're not going to get that in the next set. There are a few cards that do basic land cycling for 1 and a colored mana. Ironically, not in green. Like, I think one's in red and one's in blue, but that's for the 5-color elemental deck. But that's still also very strange, you know? But yeah, there were... I think that this is a fun set, but I did fall off of it. I don't know. I couldn't drag myself to play another one after the 8th one. I was like, come on, do a draft. And my brain was like, nah. I was expecting to go through all these golds, and I just ended up generating more and more and more. The return of lessons was interesting because this is the first set that we had lessons return in, but as a draft set, without the learn mechanic, these had to be main boardable, right? Whereas in Strixhaven, the lesson cards didn't necessarily need to be main boardable. Some of them were, but for the most part, you were hoping to get card advantage in that draft environment by drafting a learn card, a card that had learn on it, so that you can pull a lesson out of your sideboard. In this set, they had to be main deckable. They had to be playable, and there's a lot of very playable lessons here. And other people have probably already talked about this. How a lot of the cards that are, how in the upcoming set, Strixhaven, we're going back to Strixhaven later this year. We're probably going to get those learn cards, which means that we're probably going to have a very pushed standard environment where if there's any good cards with learn attached to them, they are probably going to like make the format. I can see like one or two of them getting banned. You know what I mean? Just, I don't even know what they are, but I could see it, one or two of them getting banned. Divide by Zero was a good card with learn back in the day, and then the lessons that you could get were like just mediocre, right? You know? And now we have lessons that are just like, oh yeah, 5 damage to target creature. Counter target spell unless they pay 2. Can you imagine using Divide by Zero to put a card back into your opponent's hand and then getting it'll quench you out of the sideboard and then daring them to cast it again while you're face up holding a counter spell? You know, it's just like, that's gonna be interesting. And like, I mean, Divide by Zero was banned in Standard at the time. You can totally play that in Pioneer. I do think that Pioneer is a little bit too powerful for that, especially with all the Izzet prowess decks running around with Steel Cutter. I have become part of that problem after switching off of. I made it to Mythic in Pioneer with Azorius control. So like I'm constantly the problem, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of lands. It's strange too, because this set had like a lot of fixing. But the multicolor themes were like, I guess you would splash for them, right? Because like I remember playing a 4-color deck because I got the 3-color Azula and then the 3-color Iroh, and I was like, let me cram as many lessons in here as possible, and we'll make something work. And it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. I don't think I did as well, and I think it was because I was choking on the lands. But like there was a full suite of 2-color lands, right? All 10 of them, but brand new ones. So these are probably going to be good for Pauper, right? Sacrifice this land, draw a card. I think these replace the lands from New Capenna. Energy Bending made all of your lands tap for all colors, and then you drew a card. Barrels of Blasting Jelly. Like this is just you know, like look at all this fixing here, right? And then there's also the lesson crop rotation, not specifically crop rotation. It didn't get any land. It got 2 basics, but you know, if you were playing other colors, it was fantastic fixing because now you definitely had all of your colors. Certain cards were a trap in this format, like the Return of Shrines. They're here, you know, and I can't even see Shrines being playable in Standard. There's just never enough. There's never enough support for Shrines in any given Standard environment. It feels right. The last time we saw Shrines was in Neon Dynasty, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Oh god, this is a good card. But Corrupt Court Official. This is a reprint from not New Capenna, ironically. Speaking of New Capenna, but actually a reprint from Portal 3 Kingdoms, and the flavor on that is delicious, actually. As for the show itself, I didn't watch Avatar until like way later. A friend of mine was like, you should watch Avatar, it's really good. And she was right. I watched it while I was doing my architectural finals. It was like the last year of my architectural stuff, and so I'm like building models and like doing layouts for presentations and avatars on in the background. Streaming wasn't a thing yet, right? Like now I could just stream avatar off of like 14 or 15 different things, right? But back then I had to just like, I think it was like Nick 2 would just marathon it. They would just like put it on all day, and I would just be like, okay, sure, bet. So I came to really like the show that way. I remember listening to a podcast called The Wizard and the Bruiser, which is now known as Nerd of Mouth. They brought Mike Lawrence, one of the longtime contributors to the original Nerd of Mouth, who, for whatever reason, Jake Young and Mike Lawrence, I guess they decided to discontinue that, and then Jake Young started to work with Holden McNeely. These are all fellow New Yorkers. They're cool dudes too. I really like their podcasts. If you enjoy nerdy stuff and listening to this is not my first lightning strike. Screw you, game. If you enjoy listening to nerdy stuff, highly recommend Nerd of Mouth and the backlog of Wizard and the Bruiser. But yeah, there were a few cards that were just outright traps. The Shrines were a trap. Firelord Zuko's a trap because there's not enough ways to exile cards at lower rarities, so you basically never get to activate this. I don't even think that red has the exile the top 2 cards of your library card in this deck. I mean, in this set, rather. They have abandoned attachments, which is also like, this is a fantastic lesson for control decks, right? Waterbending lesson I can seeing play in like Pioneer as a control card, right? Just because it is like a 4-mana draw 3, right? Ong at the Crossroads. 3 Dreams. What is this? Auras. 5 mana for... This is not a good card. I don't think there are there auras in this set? I can't think of a single aura in this set. I also can't... I mean, this is clearly a season 3 image. I just don't remember seeing a man with 6 arms. Or Appa and Momo getting into a sword fight. I must have blanked out on this one. Or maybe I'm hallucinating right now? Maybe this image isn't real. Am I psyoping myself? Oh god. Serpent of the Past, this seems like a good card, you know. But I don't know. I fell deep into the Pauper rabbit hole, so I actually want to do Pauper. There's like a pretty good Pauper community in New York City that I want to get into in a little bit. Zuko's Exile is interesting. We had Introduction to Annihilation in Strixhaven. This is strictly better, right? Instead of giving your opponent a card, it gives them a clue. And this is at instant speed instead of sorcery speed. Strictly better. Introduction to Annihilation. What the hell? I guess Intro to Annihilation targets anything? I think it targets... You could, like, target a land. I think. Same mana cost. Still an instant. Still a catch-all for something that's just... That's a problem. You know? I'm actually surprised that there is no lesson that's a board wipe. This set had like 2 board wipes in white. There was a board wipe in black. It wasn't as bad as... oh god, what was that set? There was Edge of Eternities. The Edge of Eternities set had like so many board wipes to the degree where I was just like, maybe there could be less board wipes? I think that set had like 5 board wipes. But yeah, I can think of 3 board wipes in this set off the top of my head. Avatar's Wrath. I think the other one was like the Epic Confrontation. The one where each player picks 4 power worth of creatures they control and sacrifices the rest. And then there's Day of Black Sun. And that's like too many board wipes. You know what I mean? Like maybe white should get one every set, yes. Epic Confrontation, the uncommon. It's at uncommon. I thought that was gonna like be a very... I thought that was gonna be a pain in the butt. Tap target creature. Return. Oh god, I misread this. Okay. For a second I was like, this just bounces itself and does nothing? I'm probably getting the uncommon board wipe confused, but also like it's an uncommon board wipe. This is, see, we got a corrupt court official earlier. Okay, this is definitely not my first one of these. This is probably, no, I drafted Zuko conflicted. This is not a good card. This is not a good card. Even if you're like being aggressive, giving your opponent a 2/3 that either can ramp, draw, or become a larger creature, that's just bad. I don't know. I guess he exiles himself, right? So he comes onto the opponent's side with summoning sickness. This was not a good card in draft. Maybe it's a better card in like Death Shadow? I don't. But yes, like I like that the set was suitably complex. The mechanics for all the bending felt flavorful, but firebending was just as bad as it felt like it was going to be. I can't, there, Destined Confrontation, there it is. This is the board wipe in white. And of course there was also the black uncommon one, which is like all creatures get -2/-2. And if you water bent 3, you gained 1 life for each creature that died. But I don't count like the small board wipes, right? Just like I wouldn't count Pyroclasm. I'm counting like the ones that go like, oh, let's reshape this board as something large that's gone. Everything that's big is gone. We are resetting, and Avatar's Wrath and Destined Confrontation do fall into that. Destined Confrontation was not good. I had an opponent play this against me twice, and it just like, it wasn't good, you know? Beifong's Bounty Hunters was a little bit too good though, but too bad it's in an enemy color pair. You know? I think that Earthbending was actually way better than it looked at the beginning, or from the onset, because just adding to your board, any card that said that it did it, you know, like, you thought to yourself, like, well, you're not actually getting another creature out of it, you're just turning one of your lands into a creature, but it still added a body to the board, and that mattered a lot, and especially because you could then, let's say you turned your Foggy Bottom Swamp into a 1/1 with Earthbending. It came back if it ever went to the graveyard for whatever reason. So you could then just sacrifice it for a card, and then it'll still come back, so you're not down a land, right? You could sacrifice it to, I keep forgetting what that card was, the Lesson Crop Rotation. I'm just going to keep calling it that, too. It's not Crop Rotation. You sacrifice a land to get 2 lands, 2 basics from your deck, put them into play. You did that, and suddenly you just ramped 2 lands if you did it to an Earthbent land, right? Waterbending was interesting if you were using it to draw cards. Katara. The uncommon Katara was like a house. If I saw that early on, I was just like, you know what? We're probably in blue. Yoink. Because she's just so good. Let's see. Firebending. Firebending, the mana being temporary for just that phase really killed it. You needed more mana sinks, I feel. And if you didn't, like if you had like a good water bending sink, sure, right? Or if you had a pump set, a pump ability like on the Ranninshaw, or there was a common 1/2 that would get +1/+0 for every 2 mana you put into it. It didn't initially have firebending unless you had a lesson in your graveyard. That was fine, right? Sometimes that was just like an annoying attacker. Or the other one, the Sages. I think the other one's the Sages at uncommon. It's a 3 mana 2/2 that if you spent 4 mana, it would get a +1/+1 counter. So that like permanently grew. But for the most part, like the firebending stuff, it's just like you might end up with a bunch of red mana and then nothing to do with it. Oh, I like this guy. Zhao, the Moonslayer. Flavor on point. Zhao the Conqueror, known as Zhao the Moonslayer, after killing Li and Lo? The 2 moon spirits. No, he slashed one of them, and then Princess Yue was like, I know my destiny now. I must give up my life to revive the moon spirit. After Sokka fell in love with her. And it was supposed to be very, very tragic, but then, you know, you watch the rest of the series and it's just like, Sokka, why do you have this much riz? I hate you. I wish I could talk to girls like you can. Sokka's supposed to be like a dorky loser, and he is attracting every lady. You know, he ends up with Suki, who's like 10 out of 10. You know, she's a fantastic lady. She's the leader of the Kyoshi Warriors, right? She's an amazing fighter. And then I think he even at one point was pulling, what's her name? Tai Li? It's just they were on different ends of the spectrum. Obviously, Mai was spoken for. She loved Zuko more than she feared Azula. Azula, thankfully, everyone was smart enough to go like, no, I'm not getting involved with Azula romantically. She's gonna die in a jail cell at some point in the future for war crimes. See, this is not my first lightning strike. Sokka, bold boomeranger. This is funny, because, like, I feel like this is not a supported card in this set. I don't know. I've seen one person play it, and then it didn't do anything. I don't know. This is more a constructed card. Firebending lesson, though. This card, like a flexible removal spell. Oh my god. Like, I was talking about it earlier. The closest we got to a lesson that was removal was not Igneous Inspiration. That had Learn on it. There was Introduction to... It was a sorcery. For 3 mana, you either destroyed an artifact or you did 1 to a creature or a planeswalker. And now we just have 1 mana Firebending Lesson with Kicker 4, 2 damage or 5 damage to a creature. Obviously, since the set has no planeswalkers on which is on theme, there's really no planeswalkers in the Avatar world. Conceivably, there's Suki. Love a good Suki. Should be pronounced ski. It's the Japanese word for love, ski. You know, one of the many Japanese words for ski. I'm sorry, for love. Porcupine. I also love the and this was in the show, right? There were so many punny names for like animals. I'm not a big fan of puns, but I'll allow it for animals because I like animals. I think that they're cute. The turtle ducks were cute. That's a pun on turtle dove, right? Porcupine is just like, haha. Badger mole. Badger mole's just a badger and a mole. And if you know anything about badgers, oh my god, they're vicious. The badger mole cub is like, it's warping so many formats. I sense a ban incoming, but what do I know? You know, I don't play standard. Every time I have to deal with one of those in Pioneer, though, it's just like, wow, somehow by turn 3, my opponent has access to 9 mana. What the hell? It feels stronger than Tron in Modern did. There it is, Cycle of Renewal. Thank you, I finally pull one. I probably already have too many copies of this card. 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield, tapped and shuffle. Green didn't seem like it was good enough. It didn't offer enough 2-for-1s though, despite Earthbending. That it wasn't like as good as we needed it to be, because I feel like and I did pull this philosophy from Just Lola. Another drafter, a fantastic drafter, a drafter that I love watching, who, you know, like his philosophy is if green is good, the format's going to be very, very balanced, right? And usually it's because like when green can be good, you can play like silly 5-color value decks, right? And if you can play silly 5-color value decks, then likely you don't have to worry about getting destroyed by a Boros deck very quickly. The exception being, of course, oh god, what was it? Tarkir Dragonstorm, which became a 2-deck format. But if everything's like balanced and green is good, you have like a really good set, you know what I mean? I think green was pretty good in the Final Fantasy set, and yeah, like that was one of the most balanced Universes Beyond sets. They needed to make more sets like that, and less sets like the Spider-Man and the upcoming Ninja Turtle set, which is going to be like, I think 200 cards, and the upcoming Marvel Superheroes set, which is again going to be like 200 cards. Just like you could tell that these were truncated sets that they later on were like, well, the kids love drafts, so let's turn that into a draft set. No, we have to make it standard legal. Why? I never drafted this card. This card seems very good, despite the fact that it dies to Fatal Push. You know, it's like what was it? What was that stupid thing? The Hydroid Crisis, but with Flash, and it's a one-color card. So now you can play Hydroid Crisis in, oh god, Azorius Control. Not that you play many creatures in Azorius Control. Looks like I have like 50.9% of this, of the collection of this set. It's a large set. You could tell that love went into this set, right? Thankfully. Lorwyn looks fantastic. If you're watching this the day that it comes out, you're likely going to a pre-release as well. Please enjoy your pre-release. I cannot make it to one. My LGS sucks. That's it. That's the tweet. And I don't want to travel further to a better LGS, even though I'm in New York City. I'm not gonna name my LGS, but they suck. I asked one time because they make posts on their Facebook page about like we have this, the pre-release is happening this weekend. So I asked them, I sent them a message, how much is the pre-release? And they left the message on red, and it's just like, cool, great way to make me feel like I'm a valued customer. You know. Yeah, there it is. Ruinous Waterbending. This is the one that's a minor board wipe. I call them minor board wipes because they only hit the small creatures. When I play removal, I want it to kill the big things. I don't know about you guys, right? So like, I like the big board wipes, the board wipes that are just like, all the creatures are dead, because that gets rid of the big things. I'm worried about the big things. I'm worried about the saber-toothed moose lion, right? I'm not worried about the fire sages, although this might not kill the fire sages. Oh, it's a 2-drop. I thought this was a 3-drop. It's 3 to put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Wow, that seems really good actually. Of the land cycle, I feel like the red one was the worst, because giving a creature you control firebending 4 at the cost of essentially 3 mana, right? 2 mana plus you tap this land. That is the cost of 3 mana to make something make 4 mana when it attacks, if it gets to attack. Like, can you imagine you activate this, you're planning on doing something silly with a bunch of red mana to get, so you give this like firebending 4 on top of its 1, and then they just go like, oh, lightning strike. What do? You just kind of cry there, right? Mongoose Lizard's weird. I've actually lost the 3-1, the Yuyan Archers to this thing. They just pinged it, and I was like, cool. But yeah, I do, part of me wishes that I got to play this more. Part of me is just like, all right, you know what, I'm ready for Lorwyn Eclipsed. Lorwyn Eclipsed looks like a very complex set. I did 8 drafts of this. I didn't even, you know, I just realized I didn't even look at like format speeds, but it felt slow enough, right? Like if a card like Katara Waterbending Prodigy here was good, and it was, this if I saw this card early enough, I was just like, I'm taking this. I am going to try to be in blue because this card is fantastic. She grows, she draws you cards, she's a mana sink. You know, like the waterbend effect feels like Convoke in some instances, so you can leave up a big board to block with, and then at the end of your opponent's turn draw a card or 2 off of Waterbend 6, while also bluffing that you have counter magic, or maybe you do have counter magic, right? Maybe you do have It'll Quench You, and so like you're holding a card in your hand, and your opponent's just like, I don't know if I can tap out this turn. Be afraid. Be afraid. So yeah, again, this is not my first Lightning Strike game. Come on. Is this artifact, creature, or enchantment? That's interesting. It's usually creature. This is like the most pushed version of this type of card. The restriction of mana value 3 or greater is palpable, right? But also, like, you would want to aim this at something large just to get tempo, right? That said, right? That said, and if you haven't watched Avatar, I hope it didn't spoil too much of the show for in my rambling earlier. It's a good show if you haven't watched it. I think it's worth watching, especially if you have kids. I think it's good. It is made for children. They had to follow a lot of standards and practices, so like they never show anybody directly striking somebody if you were worried about it being too violent. The censors at ABC wanted to follow up. Sorry, not ABC, at Nickelodeon were like, we need something like Harry Potter, so it's got to be magical and it has to have kids, which is how Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko pitched the show to Nickelodeon, and they sold it like almost immediately. There's the other board wipe. Nobody strikes each other directly. There's no like actual like somebody getting hit with a fist or getting kicked, right? But they do get hit with the magical power of their bending, right? Which gets around the violence thing, and so they can show that, right? It's, oh god, I remember when I was like really young seeing an episode of Dragon Ball Z where like it's clear that like somebody hit somebody else, but because they couldn't show the actual direct hit, but they wanted to show the drama of like the strike, they put like a giant big pow animation on top of it. It was so silly. But since this was made with American standards and practices in mind, you know, like you never see somebody like directly getting elbowed in the face or anything like that, you know. So you don't teach kids to elbow each other in the face, because violence is not the answer to anything. Although chaining Azula down did seem to help. Not for Bizarre. That's got to be somebody's thing, right? Oh, I completely forgot to talk about the monocolored themes that were in this set. Every color had like a monocolor payoff, like Gather the White Lotus, right? The green one, Earthbent, something based on the number of forests you had. The black one was Catfish Gator, which just drained any target for damage equal to the amount of swamps you controlled. These were all like stellar cards. What was the blue one? Blue one was Waterbending Scroll, which was the worst simply because it didn't have waterbending as part of its mechanic. It just costs one less for each island you controlled. So if you were playing mono blue, you might just be tapping it to like get an extra card every turn. But it didn't say waterbend 6. It just said, or waterbend, I think it was 5, actually, 5 and tap. It didn't say waterbend 5 and tap. It just said 5 and tap. That should have said waterbending. They could have made it 6. They could have made it 6 or 7 and just put waterbending. It was a flavor fail. It was the worst one of all of them. The white one was Gather the White Lotus. The red one was Exile a card in the top of your library. If its mana value was less than the number of mountains you controlled, you may play it this turn. Otherwise, put it in your hand. Or no, exile cards until you reach a non-land. Something like that. Diligent Zookeeper. I never saw this card go off, but a 4-mana 4/4 seems fine. It's just funny because like it's an ally, but it's not for the allies deck. It's for the I have a bunch of bird horses and wandering musicians deck. Wait, no, it's non-human creatures. So like this doesn't work. Scarecrow works. Combustion Man doesn't. Bird horse does. Carrion Crawler does. Oh god, Spider Beast. Ugh. 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 This is actually a really good card because this traded for something and then also gained you life off the food token. Whoops. I alt-tabbed. Accidentally. Okay, I hope I didn't accidentally. Oh, I get it. I accidentally tapped my thing. My bad. I'm gonna forget to edit that out too. I accidentally clicked my untapped overlay thing and it brought me to another page. I never drafted a single one of these Avatar legendaries, which is unfortunate. What was funny was that despite the fact that there was only a cycle of like 4 of them, Black got the 5th one with the Rise of Sozin, which was the highest win rate mythic rare. I think it's the highest win rate card in the set because it was a board wipe attached to not a mind rot effect. Oh god, what is it? You name a card and your opponent reveals their whole deck, their sideboard, their hand, and you exile all those cards, and then it comes down as like a 5/5 with menace, which is just like that's a lot. This is not my first corrupt card official. Stop it. But yeah, blue, just like the cards. Look at this. This is like remove 2 creatures on its first. You know, like so many of these. I think the green one was the worst one, and it's still very good. If you manage to like draw a bunch of cards off of it, suddenly you also have like a 7/7 land creature. One of my early drafts, I drafted 3 Air Nomad Legacies. With blue-white being as good as it was, every flyer that I had was mediocre, and it felt like I was bullying my opponents. I was playing the pirate bird with like the Windrake that also has prowess and vigilance. And like with 2 of these on the board, it's just like, oh, I can't attack my opponent, can I? No, you can't. Take 4. Tiger Seal's a trap. The draw 2 deck was interesting. I think it's blue-black. That was the draw 2 deck. It was interesting. I don't know if it was necessarily good. This looked like a trap. This was fantastic. This was fantastic. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, it gets a quest counter. If it has 4 or more, draw a card. This was fantastic. This was part of that deck, actually. Like, blue-white was just so open. But my flyers were mediocre. I think I had, like, 1 of these glider kids, but like 3 of the... I had 2 of the cat thing. Yeah, iguana parrot. I had 3 of these iguana parrots just because I wanted flyers. You know? And it was like, oh, that works, I guess. I don't know. Clearly I didn't draft enough this set because it doesn't look like we're gonna... Here we go. Solstice Revelations. This card felt like a trap, too. Yeah, clearly I didn't draft enough of this set because, like, I am so far off of completing any bit of this. But it was a nice trip down memory lane, right? I'm glad that this stuck solely with book 1, 2, and 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender and didn't touch the Legend of Korra, because that also leaves it open for them to release Legend of Korra cards. I know you guys, some of you do not care for Universes Beyond. It's a valid concern. It's too late, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, this is a part of Magic the Gathering now. Daily reminder, if you meet somebody who's playing Magic with you and says like they got in because of Universes Beyond, that's not an invitation to ostracize them. That just makes you a dick. And we're not dicks here, we're dickheads. But yeah, be nice to other people, okay? Regardless of how they got into your hobby, don't gatekeep. It's so stupid. Hey, I got an achievement out of that, Leader of the Pack. There's another Tylee. Oh my god, Spirit Water Revival was such a... What? Oh my god, I played this in a deck, and every time you water bent 6 in addition to it, it just felt like you could not lose that game. Trying to think of other things that I noticed in this set. It was very value oriented though, and with the Return to Strixhaven, which was the first set that I ever drafted, well, not the first set, but the first set that I was like, let me draft this more than once. Let me try to actually like learn to draft. That set was like, it held a special place in my heart, and it feels like it's very, very balanced for draft, and the lesson learned mechanic there was so good. I'm kind of curious what kind of lesson cards we're gonna get from that set, because oh boy, I'm like a little worried considering how pushed some of these are. Like even Lost Days. This feels like a good card. And it's a 5-drop. This felt fantastic when you got to use it, because I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, it's not real removal. I mean, it's not a bounce spell, right? They have to choose. Like, do you want to draw it later? Do you never want to draw it again? And then you still get a replacement for it in the form of a clue token. Like, that's fantastic. And it's a lesson, so like it paid off all of your lesson cards, right? Sometimes your opponent doesn't want to draw that card. Sometimes you have something that like is such a huge pain in the butt that they're like, you bounced my bomb, but now your bomb is just like, I need removal spell. I need removal for your Wan Shi Tong because I can't do anything about it, and it's like hitting me for like 4 every turn, you know? The Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong. I've heard that this is a really good card. You look at the top card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. Whenever you scry or surveil. What? Yeah, that seems good. That seems real good. Actually. You may cast it. Do this only once each turn. You cast it off the top. You don't exile it, then cast it from exile. Okay. For whatever reason, I felt like you may exile it. You may cast it from exile. That card seems silly. I'm like thinking about it now, and it's like, I've never seen that card played against me. Obviously. That seems silly. This card was hard to deal with. When you cast a non-creature spell, create a clue token, and then you can turn a clue into a 3/1 flyer. Until end of turn, obviously, but jeez. Like, it's a win condition on 2 levels because it can help you draw cards and then off the clue tokens, and then it can help you, you know, just get in with a 3/1 that you can then sacrifice to draw. Like, I never got to play this. I've had it played against me, and it's always been like, I gotta kill that now. Oh no, they're doing the discard to draw to. Oh no, they did Origin of Metal Bending. They have another. No, it keeps replacing itself. This card was stupid and I hate it. I don't know why it's even in here. They enter. Exile X target creature cards from graveyards. For each creature exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice these tokens. You know what this card is missing? It's missing the line of text that says those creatures gain haste. Maybe it would cost more if it did give them haste. But it's missing that bit of text, so you just get a bunch of ETBs and dice triggers. This is a trap card. If you misread this and then built your deck around it without realizing they don't get haste, oh my god, that's just not great, you know? It only matters if you get a bunch of cards that have ETBs, and there's not everything has an ETB. Otter Penguin doesn't, Fire Nation Cadets doesn't, First Time Flyers doesn't, right? I remember seeing that early on, and I was in black, and I was just like, that's a trap, I'm not taking you. Legend of Roku. My god, what is this? Until the end of your next turn. This is a 4-mana draw. Hey, exile. Add 1 mana of any color, so a bit of ramp there too. Ramp and fixing. And then he turns into a 4/4 that creates friggin' dragons. He's a win condition. Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna say this is the first time I've seen this card, but this is the first time that I read this card, and wow. That's nuts. Okay. It's like literally insane. So yeah, it does feel like a lot of the rares and mythics are just like way too powerful, or much more powerful than Cat Owl. This is the other flyer that I had 2 of in that flying deck. They're way more powerful than like a lot of the commons, you know, and uncommons. Like here's your defender creature in blue. Right, blue always gets a 2-drop defender that sometimes is allowed to attack. This isn't that great. I don't know. It doesn't turn into a good attacker. Like usually they're 3 power. Sometimes they're 3/2s. Clone. Oh my god. Oh my god. This draft set. Oh, I didn't address it. So yeah, these cards, they had like, apparently, from what I understand, right, the reason why they had such low resolution art or screenshots from the show on these cards was apparently they lost the original animation masters, and so like they'll never be able to produce like a high def version of this show on like Blu-ray or whatever, which is a shame actually, right? Because this show is so old. It's so, ladies and gentlemen, folks, everyone, it's so old that this originally aired at standard definition. Oh my god. Granted, it was a cable television show, so like there might have been slightly higher resolution, like it wasn't going out through antennae, right? But geez, so there's a lot of cards from this bonus sheet that just has like fuzzy screen grabs of the show, and that's all that they could do. And part of me wishes that they just redrew them, especially because the art for Shaw looks exactly the same as the screen grab that they used for, I think it's Twin Flame Dragon on the bonus sheet. It's like the screen grab from the show looks exactly the same as the art. It's different art, like somebody obviously painted that, you know what I mean? Although I don't know to what degree like they reference the original, if they just like painted on top of a screen grab or whatever, right? I you know, but yeah. So, and then the bonus sheet cards, a lot of them weren't great. I don't know. It felt like the bonus sheet mattered the least in this set, which is funny. I want the bonus sheet to matter a lot. Like the funnest that a bonus sheet has ever been was in Outlaws, right? Because that set had 2 bonus sheets. One, because they after the backlash from the March of the Machine Aftermath set, they realized that they couldn't sell the big score in boosters. They were going to make the big score as a subset of, like, you know, 7-card boosters. They were going to do that, and people were so mad at March of the Machine Aftermath that I think you could still get boxes of that for like less than half of what MSRP was for that set, which the cost of that set was strange. Also, it's only 7 cards, so like it better be half of MSRP. Are you kidding me? You're giving me half the cards. So they crammed the big score into the main set. So there was that bonus sheet. Then there was the other bonus sheet, which I feel was like 1 per pack. Maybe it was 1 in 3 packs. The breaking news. And all of those cards committed a crime, essentially, right? They all targeted a creature, a player, or a graveyard. And so you could use all of them to commit crimes. That was fantastic. There was so much interaction in that set because there was so much just, you know, like radiation from the breaking news set around, right? Green was a good color. Green was actually fantastic because you had cards like, oh god, that uncommon that just grabbed you a desert and got +1/+1 for each desert you had in play. So oftentimes it would be like a 3-mana 4/5. This use of the bonus sheet, where the bonus sheet is just 1 in every, I feel like 8-9 packs, and it's cards that don't synergize with the set, not great. This is my first corrupt court official. So yeah, I like when the bonus sheet synergizes with the set. I like when it all feels like a really good draft experience, and this bonus sheet, I could leave it, you know what I mean? The same thing I think happened with, was it Spider-Man? Did Spider-Man have a bonus sheet? I don't remember the Spider-Man set at all. Like, that's how memorable it was. It's just like, maybe I trauma buried it or something, because like that was not a good set. I did not care for the Spider-Man set. It was interesting. It was sometimes fun, but at the same time, it was just like, wow, this isn't really Spider-Man, is it? It's Enter the Omen Paths. Oh my god, I fell for this guy so many times. Boomy Unleashed. Look at those abs. Grandpa here you know, he got the riz. Anyway. Yeah, this is such a good card. 5 mana for a 5/4. That Earth Bends for 4. That's already like 9 power among 2 bodies. You definitely play that. You splash for this if you can. And then when I've gotten this to work. If he dealt combat damage to a player, I untap you untap all your lands. So like you get to have a full-on second main phase with all of your mana. But you untap all of your lands, and then you get to get another attack phase in where only your land creatures get to attack. Oh my god, it feels like your opponent should just scoop if they let that happen. That's a must-kill threat. The ETB is great. The attack trigger, or rather the combat damage trigger is great. You know, it's my last pack, folks. Last pack magic. Let's see what we get. Before we go, I want to thank you for listening, for watching. Is this really my first Water Tribe Rallier? I know that this is such a good card. I never really got to draft the Waterbend deck, which I think is also blue-white. It's like blue-white flyers / Waterbend. But this is such a good card because in blue and white and green, you had so many low-power creatures that would pump for whatever reason that this could just grab so many cards. And this type of card tends to be good in draft regardless because it represents the mana sink that can get you a 2/1, a 3/1, a 4/1, right? Lion Turtle. Oh, I remember this. He teaches Ang energy bending. Yes, I say Ang. I'm Chinese. Half Chinese. That's the correct pronunciation. Don't listen to Dante DiMartino or Brian Konietzko about it. I've actually taken Mandarin. My Mandarin's not good, but what I did learn is that the correct pronunciation of Ang is Ang and not Ang. When you say Ang, you sound like an uneducated foreigner. In Chinese we have words, but I can't say them. I'm sorry. Like, they might not be cool to say about people like that. So, you know. But yeah, it's Ang. Just like ski is ski, not Suki. There's a few names like that. Ty Lee is sort of spelled, if anything. Toph? Is it Toph or is it Toph? That's another thing. I don't remember some of the pronunciations from the show. Toph is not like a real name. The closest I could think of is like Tiffany. Right? It's not an Asian name, but also neither is Toph, Toph, Tiff, Toph, Toph, right? They tried. They tried. Again, it's fiction. So like it's fiction that borrows from reality because they do use Chinese characters. Like you see them even in the opening. So you can't say like, oh, well, it's a fictional universe, and it's like, but they're borrowing from the real world, right? I guess that's the last thing that I should get at, right? And I know that I'm gonna get pushback from this. Some of you guys are gonna hit the thumbs down button. Please don't. We're a small YouTuber here, but you know, like, it's just incorrect. And I know that also the only thing that was correct about the M. Night Shyamalan film was the pronunciation of Ong. The rest of it was just like a goddamn mess. I do like the Netflix live action series, and that's been shaping up pretty good. It's a little short. Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko are not involved with that at all. At first they were, and then they kind of like were like, we're no longer involved with that. And I guess it's because like their creative vision wasn't being respected or whatever. It's like, okay, listen, you're collaborating. It's not all about you. I don't know. When I first heard that they were getting off of it, at first I was like, maybe that is a bad sign. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized like maybe they just have like a bit of a diva mentality about their property, you know? And that's where I kind of want to sit on it now, because they did give us like, you know, I did enjoy Legend of Katara, the first season. The second season, I tried to watch it and it just became background noise about Spirit World this, and I was just like, I don't care. You know, I do like the ultimate end though, where Katara and Asami end up together, right? That's the canon relationship. I like that because one, all the dudes that they meet, like why would you get involved with that guy or that guy? These guys are schlubs. You two ladies are like fantastic. Yes, be the power couple. Oh my god. I don't even know why Asami was dating what's his face, you know? And then Katara also falls for him, and it's like, why? Anyway, that's my weird rant at the end of this. Again, if you liked this, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom. Tell your mom I said hi. Give her the old finger guns for me too while you're at it. That's awful. Coming over to twitch.tv/dickrecord. Please, again, if you're watching this on the Dick Record YouTube channel, the rest of these are going up only on the Record Player One. I'm making the executive decision. I should have done this earlier because it makes sense. That's why I set up the Record Player One channel, and you know, that's my fault. That's my fault. That's supposed to be all like the cleaned up stuff, all the stuff that I record off stream, where I don't make pee pee poo poo jokes because my friends love pee pee poo poo jokes. And you know what? I like a good pee pee poo poo joke, especially when it's you know, aimed at myself, right? Just like, haha, I'm a sad man. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful pre-release weekend, wonderful rest of your day, wonderful New Year. Happy New Year, by the way. I know it's a little late. And I will see you grinding rank, right? Hopefully. If you're playing against me, I don't know, say hi, but also I probably won't see it because I've muted all of my opponents because of all the salty people out there. Oh my god. Thankfully I haven't like had too many opponents just salt rope on me while I've been drafting, but when you're doing like anything else on that client, oh my god. Oh my god. So many people that you could just tell like they're over it, so they just walked away from their machine to go like sob or complain to their parents about how someone beat them in a card game online. A children's card game, mind you, for ages 10 and up. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your evening. I don't think I nearly got any amount of this set to yeah, see, we don't even have like gold. I'm gonna fill out the one of each. I'm gonna fill out the one of each to see where we get there, but have a great day, folks. Thanks for watching or listening. Oh, also, I've been thinking about uploading these also to like Spotify or I don't want to go to Apple iTunes, but like I've been thinking about doing it mostly because like I've called this a podcast, but like it's not audio only. It's like me just cracking my packs, right? Let me know if you guys have a favorite place to listen to these things, and maybe I'll start like uploading that. Again, it is a once per set, podcast. It's probably the worst format for anything. I probably should like try to do more podcasts, but also I call it farewell to the format for a reason. God damn it. But until next time, Flameo Hotman. Haha, get it? That's what Ang says, because he talks like a 70-year-old man. Take care, folks. Flameo Hotman.